All right, let's talk about something we're all a part of pretty much every single day, an organization. But today, we're going to peel back the layers on that idea. We're going to go way beyond the usual stuff to find a much more dynamic and, frankly, more useful way of seeing how things really get done.
So let's just dive right in with this super simple question. What is an organization? No, seriously, take a second. When you think about where you work, or a company you buy from, or even a local sports club, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Is it the building you walked into? Maybe the fancy logo you see on their website? Or is it that neat and tidy org chart, with all the little boxes and lines showing who reports to who? Well, while all those things are part of the picture, they're not the thing itself. They're just the symbols, the artifacts. They're not the living, breathing organization.
To really get to the heart of what an organization is, we have to grapple with this fundamental tension, this little tug-of-war in how we think about them. And it really boils down to two big ideas: structure versus action.
This slide really lays out the debate perfectly. On one hand, you've got this top-down view. It sees an organization as an institution, almost like a rigid cage that sets the rules and limits what people can do. But then you've got the other side, the bottom-up view. This one says, no, an organization is something that's constantly being built and rebuilt by the everyday decisions and actions of the people inside it. So, which one is it? A cage or a creation?
Well, the answer, and this quote just nails it, is that it's both. It's not an either-or thing at all. It's a continuous loop, a cycle. The structure that's in place definitely guides and constrains what we do. But everything we do, every action we take, either reinforces that structure or begins to change it. It's like a dance between the two. And because it's this continuous cycle, we need a better way to see the whole picture at once. We need a new lens. And that lens, my friends, is systems thinking. It's the one perspective that brings both the structure and the action into one single coherent view.
So what in the world is a system? Let's break this down. First, it's a set of elements that are interdependent. That's the key word. They all rely on each other. You can't understand one part in isolation. Second, it has a purpose. It exists for a reason. And finally, it's got some stability. We can look at it and see it as a complete, single thing.
And here's the really cool thing. Once you start looking for systems, you see them absolutely everywhere. From the way the planets orbit the sun to how all the organs in your body work together. You see it in road networks, social groups, even in abstract things like math. They all share this fundamental idea of interconnected parts working together in a pattern.
This all leads us to one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, kind of magical ideas in systems thinking. The idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. A pile of car parts isn't a car, a bunch of disconnected nerve cells isn't consciousness. Something new and different happens when all the pieces start working together.
And that something extra has a name. It's called an emergent property. These are the characteristics that only show up because of the interaction of all the parts. Think about it. A single car can't create a traffic jam. A single employee doesn't create a company culture. Those things emerge from the way all the individual parts connect and interact. The magic isn't in the pieces, it's in the connections.
Okay, so if an organization is a system, what are its fundamental components? What are the actual actions happening every day that create and recreate that structure? Well, we can boil it all down to three core actions.
And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if we're talking about a small local charity like Meals on Wheels or a massive global tech company. We experience all of them through these three interconnected patterns of action. They are the absolute building blocks of getting anything done as a group.
First up, you have coordination. This is the how of working together. It's all about aligning what everyone is doing to reach that shared goal. It's the volunteers at Meals on Wheels figuring out the best delivery routes so everyone gets a hot meal. That's coordination in its purest form.
Next up, communication. This is the absolute lifeblood that makes coordination even possible. And it's not just about sending emails or making calls. It's about creating a shared meaning, a shared understanding between people. It's the quick text to confirm an address or the team meeting that gets everyone on the same page. Without it, coordination just grinds to a halt.
And then there's this third action, one that's super important but often gets overlooked. It's called articulation. This is the work of representing what we do in records, turning action into data. It's the volunteer checking a name off a delivery list. It's the project manager updating the project plan. This is what gives the system a memory. It's how it learns and knows how to repeat what works.
So we've got this system of actions, coordination, communication, and articulation, all happening at once. But how does this system stay on track over time? How does it steer itself and know if it's succeeding? Well, that brings us to control and performance.
Now, I know the word control can sound a bit authoritarian, a bit rigid, but in systems thinking, it's not about that at all. It's more like a thermostat. It's the system's own internal guidance mechanism that helps it regulate itself, stay stable, and adapt when the world around it changes. It's how the system makes sure it keeps fulfilling its purpose.
And of course, to have any kind of control, you have to measure what's happening. We can really break down performance into 3 simple but powerful questions. First, efficacy. Are we doing the right things? Is what we're producing actually what we set out to produce? Then there's efficiency. Are we doing things right? Are we being smart with our time, money, and energy? And finally, the big one, effectiveness. Are we making an impact? Is what we're doing actually making a meaningful difference in the wider world?
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from org charts to emergent properties, from core actions to performance measures. But so what? Why does looking at an organization in this way actually matter in the real world?
The payoff for thinking this way is huge. It gives us a much more powerful toolkit. It lets us understand all those classic management ideas in a much deeper way. It helps us design and build better organizations, especially as new technologies come along. And for anyone in charge, it provides a real, practical framework for planning strategy and navigating the messy reality of change. It helps you see the whole forest, not just a bunch of individual trees.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. If you stop seeing your organization as a static machine with fixed parts and instead started seeing it as a living, breathing, adaptive system of human action, what's the one thing you would change? What connection would you try to strengthen? What new, amazing, emergent property would you try to help create? Thanks for tuning in.